what we're going to do today, we're going to discuss several topics regarding which can all help you to bring your Amazon business to the next level. And we are going to split that in 3 parts, which we'll talk about in a bit, and how this format will look like. Basically, Ganesh and myself, we're going to interview each other about specific ways how you can grow your business. Because I myself, together with the team, have ways to help sellers with that for already 1.5 to 2 years, and Ganesh has his own business as well. So we're going to talk in a very casual way, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of content that we really want to share with you guys in the next hour. And we'll also open the space up for questions at the very end of this. So if there's anything that is unanswered, we'll try to address as much as we can. But let's first start introducing ourselves. For the people who don't know us, my name is Hans. I'm from Holland originally. Currently living in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, and I'm the co-founder and head of business development at Judolaunch, which is now a company which started two years ago, and is now a family of more than 20 full-time people. We have a big team of part-timers as well, dedicated team, working all over the world remotely, all to help Amazon sellers to grow their business. How this all started, the big idea behind this came from Chris Rawlings, who is an Amazon seller himself, whom I met in Bali, say more than 1.5 years ago. It's all started as an idea, which we'll tell you a bit more about later. But as I say, it started just with a few people, and all in all, like, we are now at this very stage, as I said before, 20 full-time people working all over the world to help sellers all over the world, performing better in Amazon markets, among which the US and the EU markets, and Amazon Japan as well. And we're adding markets in as we go. That's all about me. And of course, we have Ganesh here on the call. Ganesh, just handing over the mic to you, because you probably can explain really well about yourself and your story and all the awesome things you do at AIhello.
Thank you, Hans. It was interesting to hear you met him in Bali. I didn't know about that one. How the conversation went. So my name is Ganesh. I've been in retail domain for close to 15 years, and I previously worked for IBM in the PC division. We used to call this liability because every time you sell, it's a liability. And then I worked for eBay. Right now, I run a machine learning platform, AIhello, that is almost as old as Judolaunch. It's around 2 years. AIhello forecasts your orders by SKU and by geographical location. So I'll come back to this, why it's really, really helpful. Essentially, what we do is when sellers are looking to scale up the business using Amazon FBM or Shopify or eBay or any other major e-commerce platform, they face significant challenges in inventory management. That's one of the main challenges. The main challenge is how much to stock each SKU. And if you're selling off FBA, then you have to look for a 3PL warehouse. You have to look for a 3PL warehouse that is close to where your customers are, so you can save time and money on shipping. And this is where AIhello helps you out. What we do is we recommend you 3PL warehouses, and we recommend you in a personalized way that depends on your inventory. We also recommend you how much to stock per warehouse. Also, even if you're using Amazon FBA, you still need to know how much to stock each SKU, when to reorder, and how much to reorder. So with AIhello, you are essentially outsourcing your entire supply chain logistics. We tell you how much to stock, where to stock, and automatically fulfill your orders across all major e-commerce platforms. We are hoping to revolutionize the online selling behavior by using AI to automate all these business aspects. That is essentially my startup. And what to do is, Hans, I'm going to ask you, a fair bit more about Judolaunch, because it's something I'm curious to learn about too, for new sellers.
Yeah.
So
I will just before we go to that, I will just explain a bit the flow of how this is going to go down. Because what Ganesh was explaining as well, like what we're going to do is we're going to share some of the secrets, values of the things that we do at our own startups, that we're revealing with you guys here, so you can apply it to your own business. So how it's going to go down, Ganesh is going to ask me about our key service, which is the product launch, which gives you product visibility. Then I will ask Ganesh about this inventory management solution and the sales forecasting that he does, which basically helps you to, like, after launches are done, to ensure that you don't run out of inventory, how you can prepare yourself for the sales to come. And then at the very end, we'll also talk about, like, the big picture, how to grow your brand by means of your audience list, which is another post-sales activity that you can do, and that we feel that, like, not enough people are talking about, and that's why we really want to mention that as well at the end of this webinar. So yeah, Ganesh, you can take over, dude, and start firing your questions at me.
Perfect. Thank you. By the way, you've done a great job of having Judolaunch, because we didn't have this, back when we launched our products. So let's go back to the basic question. Assume you found a great product and you've done a bit of research on it. You found a supplier. You did all the, the heavy lifting and the groundwork, and then you want your product to, have maximum exposure. So how do you go about it? How do you use Judolaunch to go about it?
Right. Yeah. So what we do, what I mentioned, is what we do is called a product launch, and the one key goal of a product launch is getting visibility. Similar to, like, offline methods where people use, like, billboards, commercials, etc., to, like, gain traction, people to see the awesome product that they have. That is what a product launch does as well, but then within the Amazon marketplace. So it basically allows you to get eyeballs on your product, basically to have that, like, today, which you didn't have yesterday. So a lot of sellers are stuck with this. They have this, as you said, like, put a lot of effort in finding the product, getting it compliant in the market where they want to sell in, shipping it over, etc. And then it's just, like, hidden from consumers. And, like, one of the key things to selling is obviously people seeing your product. Like, that's the start of everything. And so how the product launch does this, we have a software that allows us to distribute discounted units of your product to our audience. We have a list of, like, 10,000 of members across countries, and they will buy the product at a discount, targeting the keyword that you want to be ranked for and that is relevant to your product. So you will actually rank for a keyword that matches, like, the core and essence of your product, which then gives you, like, that massive spike in your keyword ranking. Why this is super important is because, as you know, like, when you type a keyword on Amazon looking for the product you want to buy, you typically don't go beyond the first 10 or even 5 results in the rankings. So even if you have the best product even if you have, like, hundreds of reviews, if you're not on the top of page 1, like, you don't matter. And that's what we're trying to, like, erase for anyone, really, for beginning sellers, for multi-million-dollar brands, anyone really who is suffering from a lack of visibility for their product.
Gotcha. So how do you define, a successful launch? How do you quantify such? Is it visibility? Is it page 1 rank? What is your definition?
Yeah. So what would be a successful launch is that within a short time, I would call a short time 1 or 2 weeks, you go from whatever keyword ranking you were before to a top 5 position on the first page, because that's where all the sales happens. That's one. 2 is giving you a position, like a sticky position as well. Because if you drop after, like, a couple of days, obviously your investment evaporates. Therefore, like, what we always try to do, and this is something that everyone listening to this can also apply, is ensure that your listing is fully optimized before you do a launch, because then you actually give yourself the best chance to like, convert all those listing visitors into customers as well. So if you also, like, people listening here, so if they ever want to get, like, a free consultation, for example, if they have questions on, like, is my product, like, is my listing any good, you can send it over and we have a look at it. And I would say another aspect to what makes a successful launch is like, it's organizing your launch. So it's ensuring that, well, like, okay, let's talk about what's a failed launch. What some people do is they put up a product at a discount without actually ensuring that the products are being bought in a way that affects your ranking. So if you get like one purchase today, two purchases tomorrow, zero on the day after, etc., you're not going to have a consistent growth in your keyword ranking. So what you need is you need an audience, you need an automated system that sends out the codes and calculates how much is needed in order to get that good result. So to have your plan ready is crucially important. So I think in conclusion, what I would say is like my key tip is whenever you do a promotion that you want to be effective, such as a product launch, make sure you have three things. An audience that you can send this offer out to, an automated system that does the work for you, and three, the ability to run experiments. And that allows you to be an expert in running promotions so you can make the most of your investment. These three things are crucial.
Interesting. Well, one of the problems that our sellers face is that they rank really high up and they have a stock out and they drop in the ranking. And what I would like to know is, can you launch the same product again, or can you launch multiple products at the same time? What did work with that?
Yeah, I mean, you can boost a product that's completely brand new, or you can like relaunch a product that lost its momentum as well. There are several strategies actually. For example, if you have a completely, like, some people are scared that if they have a completely new product, that if they give themselves a ranking boost, that they will just have like 2 or 3 days at the top and then they will fall back. Well, there are many ways of going about this. You can also, if you're selling in a very competitive environment, you could actually have a more, like, a slower but steady growth. So you could launch for a keyword, like a more specific long tail keyword that is less competitive, but that still has a good search volume. So basically you rank yourself for not like the best keyword you can rank for, but for like the second or third. And once you're up there, like in that less competitive space, you actually start to get some organic sales, which boosts your ranking overall. It gives you some more reviews, etc. After that's done, you have the steady position and some more organic sales. Then you can actually do another launch and go for that big keyword where like the highest competition and the highest demand is. So like step by step, you can boost your ranking. It requires some investment and a bit more time, but it allows you to have a more sticky ranking after the launch. So that's one way to do it. And what you said about multiple products, there is actually a great benefit to launching multiple products at the same time. Because if you do so, like Amazon has this great space in your listing that's just like frequently bought together. If you launch multiple of your products of the same brand at the same time, you could kind of get like a free promotion by getting your products in that space. So people will visit one of your listings and then they will scroll down and they see, apparently people are buying this as well. And it seems to indeed connect. And, I'm interested in supplements and I want to buy this vitamin D3. And now I see that this seller also offers this and this. And other like buyers seem to be interested in it as well. Maybe I need to give this a try. So it kind of gives you like a free promotion within your own listing. So a multiple product launch definitely has great benefits. Like it kind of boosts your brand together with your product.
Got it. The amount of times I went on Amazon to buy one object and I saw these multiple objects at the same time, people are buying it together and I bought it. It's nearly bankrupted, me. I mean, like, you go to buy something else and you see the whole package together. People have bought these three together, right? Why not buy all three together? That's what you buy.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you're like really into the category and into this type of product. Yeah, totally. Oh, are you there?
Yep. Hans, sorry, you cut off.
No worries. All right, let's get back to it.
Yep, and it's interesting because Amazon, does a very good job of clumping all the products together. So if your products are related to each other, they do a really good job of putting all three together, and that's a triple the boost.
Yep.
One thing remember, in the previous sentence that you said was that you shoot out this product launch to your customers, and you said you gave out a discount.
Yeah.
So how much do how much do you discount? How do you decide how much to discount and how much do you price the product, etc.?
Yeah. So when deciding what is the discount that you want to use in your launch, you basically look at two things. So one, choose a price that still has a good impact on the keyword ranking. So if a person buys your product at this price, will it still have an impact on your ranking? Because if you do your product completely for free, it's not going to have any impact, or hardly. So you need to give out a really high number of units in order to make something happen, which is what you don't want. So that's one factor, and you need to balance that with the second factor, which is you need to set a price that your audience is willing to buy the price at, in this short period of time. Because of course, at full price, it's going to be harder. So you want to set a discount that's both appealing to an audience and that still has good impact on ranking. In our case, what we do is typically 90% off. And that appears to be because we run experiments constantly and we do like dozens of launches every day. We discovered that that's like our the golden price, like the perfect price that we can set to have effective launches. So yeah, that happens, and of course that comes with an investment, right? Like it doesn't come for free. But I think what I would say, one of the, like, we work with a lot of sellers and a lot of successful sellers, and if there's one takeaway, like one thing in common that I see with these sellers is that those sellers do see that it's an investment, but they act on the fact that they are not selling as much as they could. So they're acting on the opportunity cost of seeing, oh God, those top 5 sellers are making 2K every single day. I could make that as well. And of course I need to invest now a couple $100, but like I'm losing money every single day by not being up there. Like I immediately see it when a person comes to me, they're like, I want to make that money as well. Yeah, I need to make an investment, but no matter what, I need to make it happen. Like those people, like it's surprising to see how fast they can actually get up there and get those revenues. It's pretty amazing. So that's like the one feature that I see. Like some people get really scared by it, like by the investment, and other people see it like, oh, this is an opportunity, because I see what all those people up there are selling. And so yeah, that's why I would say like the discount of the products during a product launch is of course something to consider, but it usually comes with great benefits. And there are, I would say that only like a smaller percent of the sellers recognizes that, and that's why it's still a huge opportunity.
True. One thing most sellers don't consider is the long-term storage fee, especially for Amazon,
Yeah.
that will kill your business. So, you need to have some kind of a product, moving in. So you need to consider that, you need to discount your product. This is a good area that you're getting sales, you're increasing your sales rank and you're, selling out product and you're, avoiding the long-term storage fee. That's really good. So
you know this really well because you're the inventory expert. So yeah.
Yep. It's something that we like to, our sellers to avoid the warehouse. And I call the Goldilocks, not too much, not too less.
There you go.
You need to be really, really in between.
Yeah.
So the question is like, do you need a certain amount of goods? Because you say you sell it at a 90% discount, obviously. So you need a certain amount of goods in the warehouse. So how do you decide, for example, if you're selling the can that you're drinking and you say, I want to give 90% discount.
Oh, no,
so
no branding. Yeah.
No branding can. How do you decide how much, of those cans to send to a warehouse? How do you decide that?
Yeah. So with a launch, the boring answer is that it depends. Like it depends on how competitive is the category, which country are you selling in, what is the starting position for your product, like for the keyword that you want to be ranked for. Are you really far off, or are you already near a top position? So there are a number of variables that come in there. And that's why I mentioned before, having the knowledge on like how purchases impact ranking and the ability to run experiments is really important, because then you can like set up your own formula and kind of calculate how many units you need. But I would say as a rule of thumb, in US, like the UK and Germany, it's around 150 units. In the three smaller markets in the EU, it's like less than 100 typically to get a top position, and in the US, it's around, let's say, 200, 180 to 200. But again, it depends on a lot of variables, among which competition and your starting position for a keyword. So having like some understanding on what impacts, like how it impacts the ranking, can really help you in finding like the perfect number of units to get that top position for.
Gotcha. And I assume once you have organic ranking, you gradually increase the price and you make up for that lost money.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And one question for which the answer is always yesterday is how fast can you see the result? So
Yeah.
when you can see the result.
Yeah. So launches typically don't take long because you want to increase the sales velocity in a short period of time. Like you want to hit the like you don't want to spread it out for too long a period of time, because then your boost is not going to be that impactful. So in our case, it is around 5 to 8 days, the number of days that we run a campaign for. So usually already after a week, like after a couple of days, you already see the impact, and after a week, you see it's like in its full maturity, and then you can see the best possible result. So actually, it goes pretty fast, actually very fast. So even if you consider like it's going to be Prime Day in the middle of July, like Amazon Prime Day, there are a lot of sellers now considering to launch, because they're like, okay, I need like a week in order to get a top ranking. I don't want to do it 1 week before, because then the competition is going to be too high. So a lot of people start now because they're like, I want to be up there, and then other people can start like competing below me, but I already want to be up there. So yeah, it's usually 1 week that people need to get ranked.
Gotcha. Okay. So how does this, back in the days when we used to launch our product, we would focus on lighting deals was manual back then. Now Amazon has automated it. So all we were left with was the PPC campaigns.
Right.
And that's what it was, a long slog, and I didn't really like the PPC campaigns because it was a money guzzler. So how do you, exactly how do you differentiate yourself from those PPC campaigns?
Yeah, I personally do also like PPC. I mean, it's a complementary way of like getting more sales and ranking. So I would say they're both really great tools to use. But why I feel that launches make a difference is the organic ranking you get from doing a launch. So you don't have that sticker on your product as sponsored, so people kind of know that you're up there because you pay, and not necessarily because you're good. So getting an organic ranking gives like more credibility, and at the same time, I would say the second thing, with a launch, you have a guaranteed. Well, if you do it well, you have a guaranteed number of purchases. There's discounted units that go out, which also means that you're building your brand at the same time, because people get your like the product in their hands. So let's say in Germany, 150 units go out. There are 150 Germans who experience your product. I mean, they leave feedback if they want, but they can tell their friends about it. They may come back to you. Maybe they will become part of your email list, which we'll talk about a bit later. So it actually gets the word out, which with PPC may happen, but maybe no one will buy your product, even if it's ranked at the top with that sponsored thing on it. So let's say, like, I mean, one doesn't exclude the other, and they both help. But these are two reasons why, for me, like a launch has a more secure effect: organic keyword ranking and like guaranteed purchases.
Interesting. So what you're saying is brand management is really important, because using the launches, you put the brand in face of the customer.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's how I see
Yeah.
it.
Especially if you're, private labeling, what I noticed is, brand management is A to Z of everything. People love you for the brand, regardless of what you're selling.
Yep. Yeah. If you can make people feel connected to your brand, that's
Yeah.
things will start selling by itself.
Yep. In a way, it's like what you do is like the lighting deal. but with a a different kind of approach.
Yeah.
So how does this fit into the the Amazon terms of service? How does it fit into the whole paradigm of the TOS of them?
Yeah, that's a great. I mean, I get a question all the time, which
Yeah.
we should get all the time because people need to be concerned over their brand, right? Like, and I mean, as much as we are about our business, people need to know that nothing happens to their listing or even their account. So launches are promotions, which is okay. Like Amazon thrives by promotions. It does it all the time. It um, even encourages people to do so. Again, talking about Prime Days coming up, organizing your promotions to get most out of it, which is effectively what a launch is. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just getting the most out of your investment. One thing you just never should do when you do a launch is force an audience to do anything that they don't want. Or I mean, even if they want it, like you should not like enforce people to do something even if they do want. You should leave people free to leave reviews, for example. But a review is just a side effect, positive side effect of a launch. There are no shortcuts. Still, a lot of people try to find shortcuts to reviews, for example. Um, but I say like because customer experiences are generated, it does help with that. But in order to stay compliant with the terms of service, you should just run your promotions, but not try to um, find shortcuts to things like reviews, for example. That's something that already back in the day, like 1.5 years ago, was banned, which I think is good as well for the entire space. Keeps it clean, and makes also sure that every review that you earn now matters more, has a higher magnitude. Yeah, like in that case, yeah, in terms of service, in the terms of service, it fits there, as long as you don't force people to do anything in return for an incentive, like a review, for example.
Interesting.
Yep.
So yeah, that was quite interesting to learn about all of this stuff. Uh, what I'm going to do is now we'll launch the product, and I'll take the time to talk a bit about flipping and then taking over how you need to know how much you will sell and the inventory management. So yeah, much Hans for your time. I mean
Yeah.
that was an interesting chat,
Yep.
and we plan to send sellers to you, and they're quite curious about Judolaunch, and hopefully they will join us in the chat.
Yeah.
And they will have a chat with you.
Yeah. I just want to say that in the future, like if people want, just before we go there,
Yeah.
like as I say, these kind of webinars, but also people can always reach out to ask questions about how to do launches effectively. Like we're not having secrets here. Like everyone can do launches if they want to. They just need to consider if it's something that you want to do by yourself, or if you want help and you want to do it faster, and if you like as you do with so many things in your life, ask people to do it for you because they already have the infrastructure in place, audience, system. Feel free to reach out to us. Ask, even if you just want to have some advice, just reply to like the end of this webinar, send an email to hans@judolaunch.com, and we can just give you like a free consultation, and so just to give you like an advice on how to do effective launches. So yeah, just want to give that as a free value nugget to you guys.
Yep. And there is no shortcuts to this business. People think of making a quick buck, getting in, selling some stuff, and getting out. Unfortunately, in the retail business, especially if you are private labeling, there is absolutely no shortcut. You have to do the launch, you have to do the PPC, you have to go through the whole grind, and then you start reaping in the awards for that one.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, thanks for that, man. Like as we said before, we're flipping the script. We
Yep.
talked about launches. Now it's up to you. We're going to talk about. So imagine you have this launch done, and the launch, as mentioned before, helps with visibility, and you get some sales flooding in.
Yep.
Then new challenges arise, because how are you going to ensure that the demands that you face, customers' demand, how are you going to respond to that? I'm pretty sure that you started your business for like some personal experiences that you had, like I wouldn't say horror stories, but
Yep.
like when sales actually started to flood in, that some new challenges arose. Do you have some examples of that?
Yeah, horror stories is an understatement. What you go through is you start with despair, why isn't my product selling? And then once your product is selling, it's like, how much is it going to sell? So you jump from one, problem to another problem.
Yeah.
So it's helpful to have people like you, help with the launch to the push.
Mm-hmm.
And once this push,
Oh, I think I'm losing Ganesh.
once you are working, you also need to have a warehouse. So predicting the future is an important part. And you essentially need to know for a couple of reasons. One is because Amazon kills you in the long-term storage fee. So if you order too much, then you're dead, with the warehouse fees. That's a huge part of your revenue. And if it's too less, then it's a stock out, and you lose all the sales ranking that you get from Judolaunch. So you have to do the product launch again, and then you have to come back again. So that's what you have to do. You have to know the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, indeed. And that is hard, looking at the future. I mean, that's one of the superhero skills everyone wants. But
Yep.
so what do you feel are, I mean, people make tons of mistakes in order,
Yeah.
like, trying to find the right things to do. But what do you feel are the most common mistakes that you see sellers make when it comes to managing their inventory?
You know how I said about there are no shortcuts in this retail business. Okay, that was a bit of an exaggeration. There are really some shortcuts, and the shortcuts is learning from other people's mistake. So it's a good question that you ask. What are the common mistakes? Because you as humans, we have to eventually learn from other people's mistake. And some of the mistakes that we see, we have quite a bit of a big amount of sellers using our platform. The main mistakes that I see is people don't calculate the warehouse fees. They don't think in terms of, how much Amazon is going to charge me after 3 months. And there's also, an excess, the warehouse fees increase during Christmas time, during, October, November, December, the quarter, it really goes up.
Yeah.
And there are, lucky sellers who have a stock out right before a season. So they don't know how much they're going to sell. They think, the previous season they sold 100, so the next season they're going to sell 100, and they reorder 100, but it's sold out in 10 days.
Right.
So absolutely, what I call is as the Goldilocks amount of inventory. You need to know just the right amount, not too much, not too less.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. And I mean, one thing comes down to launches as well, is when you
Yeah.
run out of inventory, your keyword ranking is just going to be horrible after that. So there's so many reasons why you want to ensure that that's taken care of. So, like, how does a sales forecasting tool work? So, like, because when you have that, you also know how much inventory to keep. So, I mean, you mentioned already like a couple of reasons why you need that. Like, but how does it work?
Yep, it's to give you an example. One of the most cringeworthy example that we had was one of the sellers was an Amazon Choice
Mm-hmm.
for his product. The Amazon Choice, the badge is like a badge of honor, and since he got the sales, his amount of sales went up 10x, and then he was sold out in a couple of weeks.
Wow.
What we say is sales forecasting is really important because you need to know how much you're going to sell. If you're an FBA, that's all you need to know, how much you're going to sell. And this, we can tell you when to reorder and how much to reorder. But if you're selling off FBA, like for example, if you're selling on FBM, or if you're selling on WooCommerce, or if you're selling on Shopify, then it's also really good to know where you're going to sell it. So is your customer base in New York? Is your customer base in California? If for instance, if your warehouse is in California and all your customers are in New York, then you're spending a huge amount of money on the shipping fees, and there's no next day delivery. So there's no good customer support. So you need to know where you're selling it. So the way sales forecasting works is we tell you how much you're going to sell and where you're going to sell it. If you're an FBA, it's good for the reordering stocks. So we'll tell you maybe in 3 weeks reorders QA, in 4 weeks reorders QB. This keeps right in the middle of avoiding the excess warehouse fees, plus also avoiding stockouts.
Sweet. Wow. That indeed sounds like a huge solution to all those things that you just brought up. I mean, it's I mean, one thing you also mentioned, and this actually interests me, is that, like, if you sell something now, like 100 units now, next week you can suddenly sell like 3 or maybe 10 times more. Like, What can you say about sales trends and how they affect this?
Sales trends are very important. And the reason why we say is that if you're selling snowshoes, then of course you're not going to sell a lot in May, June, May, June is summer, hopefully in US. May, June is, winter here, over here.
Mm-hmm.
And, you also need to know the location. You cannot take your snowshoes and sell it in Florida, I hope, no one's going to buy it. So sales trends are important because this tells you how much you're going to sell in the future for the next quarter, for the next month. So if you're selling, a tiny amount of snowshoes probably in July, in August, in September, then it'll tell you in October, November, December, it's going to pick up by 10 times, by 30 times in November, and by 60 times in December. So sales trends are important to avoid stockouts and also, overstocking. Because, come March and you start stocking up what is sold in Jan, it's not going to be sold. So you're going to get killed on warehouse. So it's really important to know the trend lines of the month. And if you're a really, really high volume seller, then you really need to know the trends by month as well. So you need to know that. What I've noticed with most of the sellers is a lot of them sell well in the first 7 days. That's because that's when we get the wages, So Amazon sells, you sell well, and the trends go up. So it's an interesting piece of, a tidbit to know.
Yeah. Indeed. So what other trends are out there apart from like the seasonality, for example? What are some of the trends that you have come by?
We use the monthly trend. What we display is the seasonality trend, and we display the monthly trend, which, what day of the month you're going to sell, and also the weekly trend, so you sell well on a Monday, you sell well on a Wednesday, and it depends on the SKU, some SKUs sell well on a Sunday, some SKUs sell well on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. What you noticed is office products sell well on a Wednesday. So we offer personalized, sales forecasting depending on what product you have and what, how many orders you have done, etc.
Right. Sweet. I mean, I know we touched this already a little bit, but because these are like the opportunities, but because you say there's of course a risk with your long-term storage fees. That's one risk you can face, but then running out of inventory is the other side of the coin. So what happens when you hit that wall?
Oh wow, okay, you have to hit the wall. You feel like pulling your hair out because all your the launch that you did, the money that you spent, the discount that you get is all down the drain if you have a stock out. One thing which most sellers are aware of is that your sales ranking it plummets as soon as you're out of stock. The second thing is you have subscribe and save with Amazon. So people are subscribed to your products and they get it on a monthly basis. These people are going to lose out on the product because it's a stock out. So they're going to unsubscribe from your product and then they're going to subscribe to someone else. So you're suffering a long term. And finally, of course, you're losing out on the money, the revenue, the cash that you have. So there's, stock outs, what I've seen is can be as equally bad as, having an overstock in your warehouse.
Right.
In revenue, in terms of money.
Yeah. So then having that balance is, geez, I got a call here. Sorry. Yeah, I mean having a balance then to ensure that you not get either of those negative impacts is like huge. So I think, I think the people listening to this, they may be in like different like stages of their business. At what moment is it? And they may wonder, is this right for me? Should I do this in like a month from now, or maybe only next year, or whatever? When is the best time to start automating this part of your business?
This is what a human should think about. This is what we don't want to, want you to think about it and come back. The first perspective is that with selling on Amazon is a huge risk. You could get banned, you could get suspended. So what most of the sellers they want to have their own shop. They dream of having their own Shopify. They dream of having their own WooCommerce. So if you're thinking of venturing into this, even if you're not making any sales, you can just jump up on board on with us, and then you can connect your, WooCommerce. You can connect to Shopify, and you can start using our 3PL network. The second is even if you're selling on FBA and you're a high volume seller, you're selling thousands of products per month, and you keep your stock on FBA and you want to maintain that volume, then you can come back to us and say, okay, I use FBA and I would like to forecast my inventory for FBA just to make sure I don't pay excess warehouse fees or I don't have a stock out. So that's equally a good time.
Right. So can people work with you also if they're not selling through FBA?
Yes, definitely. We actually excel for people that don't sell on FBA. We also help people on FBA with a few features, but our main core feature is for people who want to move off FBA. But what I say is, for all your e-commerce platform, we offer you the FBA experience. So it's like a first class experience for all the e-commerce platform. If you're selling on Shopify, you don't have to think about third-party warehouses. You don't have to think about how much to sell your stock. You don't have to think about where to stock it. Just give it to us. We'll handle the fulfillment. We'll handle the warehousing. We'll handle everything else, automating everything.
I like how you said that, giving the FBA experience. That's really cool, because that's something I think everyone in this room understands. That's really great. So in which countries do you have your third-party warehouses?
Well, right now we run our third-party warehouses in US and India. In US, we have an extensive network. In India, we have around 3 warehouses, and we are currently working with our EU providers. So the EU warehouse is in UK, and it ships all over to the European Union. We don't know what's going to happen to him after the Brexit. So we don't know what the rules. So we are working with other providers in mainland Europe.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, talk about warehouses. So, I mean, you already mentioned Brexit there.
Yeah.
I guess there is a number of things you have to figure out before choosing a warehouse where you can stock, right? Like I guess a lot of FBA people, like FBA sellers, don't have to think about this. But like, what are the things you have to take into consideration when choosing a warehouse for your specific product?
Well, I think the number one that you need to think about is where your customers are. I mean, I brought up the example of New York and California. If you're selling, for example, organic product, people might think California, and that's what I thought too. But paradoxically, organic products sell well in New York. So if you didn't know about this one, you would stock all your products in California, and then you're spending all your time and money, and effort shipping the products to New York. So you need to be as close to your customers as possible. That's the number one, to save on money and time.
Yeah.
And the rest of it, we would like to automate it. That's what we are kind of revolutionizing it. It's like automate your whole supply chain logistics. A human should be thinking, not doing the menial labor of shipping and thinking about where to stock up and thinking about choosing a warehouse and etc. A human should be focusing on business, getting cash.
Yeah. Yeah, I can fully relate to it. If there are some things that you can automate, this is the thing that you don't want to spend your precious time on, like your brain capacity on. Like, this is what a machine can do, is what a tool can do, and you have other things to spend your energy and your time on. So
absolutely.
And that's actually probably the next part we're going to talk about. So I mean, this was awesome. Like you, as I say, I think this is a solution that is like, as I say, like readily available for anyone really who just wants to start understanding how to find the perfect balance between, as you mentioned, having the right inventory, not having too much, and still being able to address the needs of customers in like short and long run. So I think that's awesome. Like, I'm really inspired by this. So that was great, man. Thanks a lot for that.
Thank you, Hans. And one thing I want to mention is that right now, only Amazon is open to everyone. And if you want to sell on, Shopify or eBay or WooCommerce, it's gated. So we only allow select users to, use that platform. But hopefully within the next, couple of weeks, we'll open it up to everyone else. It depends on how much demand we have, Shopify and WooCommerce. So that to the last, part about growing your brand. This is something, is a very, niche subject for me, and I love talking about it because it's something that I touch upon in a lot of times in my life. How do you grow brand? What is brand management? Everything.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. So I'd like to ask you a few questions because you're the expert in brand management, and I would like to learn about it. Mm-hmm. So why is if you're selling on Amazon, you have a private label, and then you can continue selling it. So why do you think brand management is important on Amazon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I fully follow what you're saying there. Like, I love talking about it. I love when people bring it up during the conversations that I have on a daily basis, because I believe it's one of the biggest opportunities out there. While still I don't hear enough people talking about it, which makes it like an even bigger opportunity to me. like an early mover opportunity. Not enough people are capitalizing on the branding opportunity that there is on Amazon. Just like how I see it is that any online business, well, any business needs an image, a face. While a lot of people are focusing on price, like there are more business essentials than that, right? So because how can you otherwise explain how people go to brand A and buy their product there, while actually everything seems better at brand B? And that's simply because people feel connected to brand A for a number of reasons, but because of their branding, right? Because they are able to engage their customers and keep them with them. And because Amazon is known as a marketplace where price competition is high. I mean, it's even Jeff Bezos has said that he's always going to ensure that Amazon is price competitive compared to other platforms. A lot of people focus on that, but Amazon also gives you a great chance to build a brand. So, just to give an example of that, right now in Europe, the health trends of people wanting to live healthy, eat healthy, take care of their body, take care of what they put in their body as well. Like the number of health fanatics is huge, and it increased so fast. It's like people don't only want to like consume, but they also want to learn about what is healthy and how can I live healthy. But when I look at the supplement brands out there, there are only a few who do a really good job at not just selling a good product at a good price, but also generating content and doing a good job that's being perceived as an authority, not just because of their product, but the way they interact with their community and like the content value that they provide. I think a key element here is having an access to your audience and a constant interaction with an audience, which has so many advantages. If, of course, this audience fits your customer persona, like perfectly, like how we were saying in the health scene, you want to reach out to those people if you're selling like health supplements as well, because those are the people who want to come back to you. They want more from you, and they want to get, and that allows you to get more out of them as well. So this is like branding in like in the wide spectrum of branding is just a huge opportunity for sellers out there who have a brand that is centered around a certain like topic, like for example supplements in this case. That's huge. And as I say, because not many people are doing it yet, but like focus, say, on price and ranking, which are all really important. But this is just like an opportunity that is out there as well. And because not many people are doing it, um, I see like some really great results of the brands that manage to have like an effective brand strategy. And that's really inspiring to see.
Interesting. One thing which I find not many people talking about it. In fact, I could not find any webinar talking about it. Is a subscribe and save feature of Amazon, and that gets a lots of sale for lots of people, and it's really really closely tied with branding. So people always associate, subscribe and save with brands they like. So if they like a product, they click on that brand, they subscribe to it, and they find other products from the same brand and they subscribe to it. So that's an extra added revenue, a constant, revenue that grows from it. And you mentioned that you like to keep in touch with the customers, and you always get back to the customers. So how do you get in touch with those customers? How do you capture those the leads?
Yeah. I think I already touched it a bit in the previous part, is to find ways to engage and communicate with customers constantly from the very beginning, from the moment they make their purchase, or even before that. If you do things on Facebook, for example, you can reach out to people by means of your content, and then have them purchase their first product with you, and then you keep them with you. You can use email sequences for this. But also, like I would say, it's really important to show to them that you care about them. Great examples of sellers putting like little handwritten inserts in their product, in the box of their product. And even though, of course, it's printed, but people, even if they know that it's printed, they just see that this is a person who wants to interact, like a seller who wants to interact and who does care. And they will see this as the brand speaking to them. And then if that, like, there's also content coming their way, content that they are interested in, and they see, oh, new products are coming out and this connects to me as well. And if that whole brand is kind of like breathing in the same way as they do, that's like a fantastic opportunity to, let's say, capture leads for your like email list and keep them with you. As long as you have, I say, that engagement and through content communication, etc. And there's so many great strategies out there, of which the insert I was just talking about is just one thing, and it's many of them are surprisingly easy to do. and and many times when a seller is actually passionate about his own product and brand, it is actually something that they're happy to do, because this is usually the reason why they started the business in the first place, because they
Yep.
are passionate about selling, this particular product.
Gotcha. One thing you might have noticed why Amazon became hugely successful is every time they ship a product, they write Amazon on all sides on that. So it's a way of branding. You leave it on the doorstep, or if you're shipping it through, to the post office, you can see Amazon branding everywhere.
Oh
That's
yeah.
just sending out the message that we exist.
Oh yeah.
It's good. So what are the benefits, of having your own customer list? I mean, what is the kind of competitive advantage you get?
Yeah. So we do this then as well, right? Like, so I mean, we're talking also about this because we identified this opportunity some time ago. So what we do now is, so remember I explained about the launches before,
Yeah.
distributing these discounted units to get your keyword ranking up, getting that visibility. One way to keep your ranking up there and to increase sales is, of course, by engaging with customers and to build your list, not only after the launch, but because of the launch. So what we've implemented now is a feature that allows our audience to become a part of the seller's email list. So they will test out the product, which they'll get at a discount. And we give them the chance to become a part of the seller's email list if they're interested in being with the seller. So if the seller has a good branding strategy, of course they're highly likely to, as I say, to commit to that. So yeah, what I mentioned before about, it's not only about getting that keyword ranking, it's also like you get your product in the hands of 150 to 200 consumers in a local market. And if you manage to get those people to be a part of your email list, which is what we do with our launches, for example, that's a really great growth opportunity for the reasons we just talked about. Like, you can build your brand from there.
Gotcha. And you suppose you can monetize that list as well. I mean, once you get the list.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
And
absolutely. I mean, because you can keep selling to those people. That's one thing. You can use those people as your like brand advocates. Like, they will talk to their friends who are probably in the same sphere, like people who are interested in like in health and beauty. They will probably talk to their friends who are interested in having same interest, and of course, getting data, getting feedback. And I'm not just talking about reviews, I'm also just talking literally about like analyzing what they are talking about, and recognizing trends, which can help you with product selection. It can help you with the vision that you're setting for your brand. So I mean, the opportunities are endless if you have access to your audience. I mean, you know this as well, man. Like, you have your own business, having access to your audience, amazing. It's huge. It gives you chances to sell, to grow your network, to get data, take important decisions, and grow further. So yeah, like, that is a great growth opportunity that we'll see more and more people start to realize and actively engage in.
Yep, I call them micro influencers because they kind of being an influencer for your product, reaching out to their friends, reaching out to their family, everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
I think that's a great term.
Yep, perfect. Thank you so much, Hans. I enjoyed chatting with you. I think we are on time.
We are on time. And
Yeah.
we're actually going to leave a little time, I think, for questions here as well for people, if they have any, because I see we're still having sufficient people with us.
How many do we have left? How many people?
there, there are right now 13 people live.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone who wants to throw in any questions about this, feel free to do so. We're still a little like it is exactly 1 hour now that we're here, but I guess we can add 5 minutes for questions, and then we'll just give people a nice little offer at the end of this. Is that cool? All right, let's see if anything comes in. Or we can already actually throw in our offer here while people are typing their questions, if they have any, of course. I'll just come in like while I'm having the microphone right here, say that regarding to the first topic of this webinar, if people are interested in doing launches with us, keep an eye on your email after this webinar, because you're going to get a 25% off on launches that you do with Judolaunch. It's a limited offer though, so just make sure that you jump on it. And if you have any questions about that, just reply to that email. And if for some reason you don't get the email with that offer, write to Hans, HANS, @judolaunch.com. You'll also get a recording to this webinar. And I also mentioned some resources before, and I also mentioned that we're happy to analyze your listing. If you have any questions about its effectiveness, reach out. One of our key benefits, and one of the things we always stand for, is helping people out, giving them like a human approach. So if you have any questions and you just want to have a quick consultation call, just reach out, and we can help you with that, apart from that 25% off for all those great people who join us today. So that's what we're adding here at the end. And how about you, Ganesh?
Well, I would like to say that if people are interested to know more about automation or AI and what they think of it, are they scared, are they happy, are they excited, I'm happy, happy to chat with them. It doesn't have to be about Amazon, just generally what they think about automating the whole supply chain logistics. But what problems do they face, and how we can help them. We're actually a constantly evolving software. So we add new features every 4 weeks and we push them in. And if any of the seller want a feature, or want a lengthy trial, we're happy to work with them and give them the feature they want. So yep, whatever floats the boat, hit them.
Fantastic. Right on, man. Okay, I see that there's one question that arrived with us from Brian Lozano, who's asking about launches. So that's one for me here. Can you control how many giveaways each day for a launch? And how do we get the coupon again? I'm not sure I understand the second question, but I will go for the first one. So how you can control how many giveaways per day? So you need to ensure that you generate coupon codes, and that relates to your second question. With and make sure that you make the settings right. I can help you with that if you drop me an email. I can show you which settings you have to turn on to ensure that you don't run out of inventory, because then Ganesh is gonna feel very sad. But yeah, so that's one thing. You need to ensure that your coupon codes are set in the right way. But the biggie here is having the system that sends out as many codes as you want on a daily basis. And just to give you like a little scoop here, like what you want to do is you start with a number of units on the first day and then accelerate it towards the end, because at the very end you want to have enough flight time for your product to stay at that high ranking in order to be recognized by organic like Amazon page 1 visitors. So and of course, the like next to the coupon codes, the automated system, the third thing is having your audience base, because you can send out 25 codes in a day, but if you only have 5 people redeeming that, maybe you need to send out like 125 units in order to actually get your 25 purchases. But then if you're unlucky, people start buying, and then you lose like 125 units. So you need to ensure that you have a perfect balance between your audience, your plan, and the system that sends out the codes. Okay. And while we're talking about this, like more questions come in. Someone is asking if we have an automated PPC solution. Judolaunch has a solution like that. we have a solution like that, which we didn't talk about today, but Eagle Eye Reports Video Eye, please reach out to me and I can help you with that. Brian is asking about the coupon codes of 25% off. How do we get this? It's the one you just mentioned.
That's going to be sent out in the email for the webinars. There's the discount.
Yes, the discount. Yep. Mia is correct. She's replying. The person will get it over email. Chris Rawlings is asking a question for you, Ganesh.
Yep.
And when it Eagle Eye Reports Video Eye came, which is also a beautiful name, by the way, has a question about our pricing. So I can send you more information about that in that same email where you get the 25% discount, because we typically tailor packages for each client. You pay per launch. Every third launch with us is for free. And then on top of this, you get a 25% off. So it's a pretty good deal. Limited though, so make sure to reach out, and I will keep my eagle eye on you. Eagle Eye Reports Video Eye. Again, that's a really nice term. So I think we're at the end of this. Again, Ganesh, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks for being with us at this very, very late hour.
Likewise, Hans, likewise.
Yeah, looking forward to speaking with you again about this and keep the conversation going, because we touched some topics which are hot and that are out there that people will probably keep speaking about. And if there's anyone in here who wants to further talk about it, reach out to Ganesh. Ganesh, can you just mention your email address out here so people know where to find you?
AIhello.com. You can just hit contact over there, or you can send me on ganesh@aihello.com. For the next webinar, we can talk about your automated PPC. That's something I have a lot of requests for. So it will be good to chat about the automated PPC.
Let's do that. So we're already hinting for the next webinar. I'm very much up for that. Let's do it. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, good morning, good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Good morning, Hans. Bye.